Hi folks, this is Steve from the Pistol Place and welcome to this video review of the ASG CZ P-09 Duty. This is a fairly new release from ASG, it came out at the beginning of 2014. It's a replica of a CZ pistol, fully licensed replica, and it includes accurate CZ markings. Okay, so what's this one like? Well, it's a very accurate visual replica of the original firearm. ASG claim it was made using the original construction drawings for the CZ P-09. I see no reason to doubt that. Even things like the anti-slip finish on the grip is very accurately replicated. All the controls, every line of the original is here, and it really is a nice looking replica. One small issue is that the ejection port on the slide is not cut away, as you can see. Personally, I prefer cutaway ejection ports. On this one, it's just a recessed area on the slide. It's very cleanly moulded, it looks okay. If you like an open ejection port, that may be an issue. One of the features of CZ pistols is that the slide runs inside rails on the frame rather than outside and above, as it does on things like 1911 style pistols, so it gives this quite a distinct look. It's a blowback replica, so the slide does move. It doesn't go through a full range of movement. But it's reasonable, it's a heavy slide, and it gives distinct and quite strong blowback, which I rather like. Controls on the pistol are very similar to the original and very nicely modelled. This is the safety catch decocker. Moving it from fire to safe by pressing it down decocks the hammer, as you can see. To move back from safe to fire, you first have to press this small round button in the centre of the left hand catch, which can be a little bit fiddly, especially if you're trying to do it with one hand, and especially if you're left-handed like me, because the button is only on the left hand catch. There isn't a button on the right hand catch. The slide release is accurately modelled but is non-functional. It's a feature of this design of pistol that the slide doesn't lock back on empty. It has rotary pellet carriers. I prefer if it does lock back, but really that's only possible on BB pistols, so in exchange for the extra power and accuracy in pellets, I'm afraid that's just one of the things that you get is a slide that doesn't lock back. The magazine release works as you'd expect. Pressing that pings the magazine out fairly strongly. The magazine itself is very similar to the magazine seen on some other pistols like the Umarex PX4 Storm or the Gamo PT85. It's a plastic mag, and at either end there are 8-shot pellet or BB carriers. Loading is a little bit fiddly because only 2 chambers in the magazine are visible at any one time, but at least when you load you've got 16 shots without reloading. Putting it back in is recessed fairly deeply into the grip, but it does locate nice and accurately and positively. Obviously what happens is once you've fired the 8 shots from one end, you eject the magazine, turn it around, put it back in and fire 8 shots on the other end. CO2 is stored inside the grip and is accessed by removing the lower and rear part of the grip, like this, which gives you access to the loading chamber inside. There's a metal tab here, and turning this pierces and tightens the CO2. Replacing the back part of the grip can be slightly fiddly. You have to get it very accurately placed before it'll fit, and you have to make sure that the loading tab is in the right position before you can do that. Overall, this is a very high quality pistol. It handles nicely, it has good weight, it's well balanced. The plastic used in the lower part of the grip seems very robust. When the rear and base of the grip are fitted, there's no movement at all when you're holding the pistol. And overall, I must say, I like the look and feel of the pistol. The sights have white dots, as you can see, front and rear. Unfortunately, the sights are non-adjustable. This is quite an accurate pistol. I might have preferred to see adjustable sights on this, though it's not a huge issue because out of the box this one certainly fires pretty close to the point of aim. You can see that it's got a small accessory rail under the barrel, and one feature that I do particularly like is that the safety text on the pistol, which has to be there on replicas, is engraved. It's black, it's fairly discreet. I don't like replicas where the safety text is painted in white or some bright colour on the side of the text. I think it spoils the look of them. On this one it's fairly discreetly done. CZ markings are included. You have the logo on the grip, CZ P-09 here, and Duty at the front of the slide. Overall, looks good, handles well. Let's find out how it shoots. I'll try 6 shots at 6 yards from a semi-rested position. Okay, so you can see that the ASG CZ P-09 is a pretty fair shooter. This grouping that I got there was just under 1 inch, which for me anyways is about as good as I can manage with a pistol. You may do better. But it's very consistent. Generally I was finding that shots are hitting slightly to the left of centre. As you can see here, they're hitting slightly to the right, but that's probably just how I'm gripping the pistol. Overall, this is a very powerful and very accurate pellet shooter. The trigger pull is very long, even in single action. It's a long trigger pull. The slide cocks the hammer, but it doesn't index the pellet carrier for the next shot. That's done with the first part of the trigger pull, and you can distinctly feel the pellet carrier indexing as you pull the trigger back. And the trigger doesn't release the hammer until right at the very rear of its travel, as you can see. It's not an issue, it's a nice clean consistent break, but it doesn't happen until it gets right to the rear. If you do pull the trigger back through the first part of its travel, it will index the pellet carrier, and if you release it and pull it again, it will index the carrier again, so you could be left with an unfired pellet in the carrier. I've owned a number of ASG pistols, and this issue with the first part of the trigger pull seems to be consistent, but I have found it improves over time. They seem to wear in as you shoot them, so that the first part of the trigger pull gets lighter through use. Also, spraying the magazine with silicone spray can help to make the trigger pull feel rather smoother than it does. So what are the good and the bad points of this pistol? Well, the bad points are really fairly minor. I would like to have seen a cutaway ejection port. Adjustable rear sights might have been nice, though as you can see from the test it shoots close to the point of aim out of the box, so that isn't a huge issue. It isn't true single action. The trigger pull in single action is indexing the magazine, which gives quite a long trigger pull, and you can distinctly feel the magazine moving. It's typical to this design of pistol. It's certainly no worse than others, and it isn't a major problem, and experience suggests it'll get better over time. Finally, it might have been nice to have the slide able to lock back and empty, but that just isn't possible with this design of pistol. What are the good points? Well, first of all, it's a very good shooter. It's powerful, it's accurate, it's consistent, and it's capable of very tight groups. The fit and finish are very good. The plastic frame and grip seem to be very well made. Out of a very strong plastic, there's no creaking or movement from the grip. The slide is nicely detailed, and the paint on it is thickly applied and seems to be resistant to scuffing and scratching. There is no side-to-side movement at all on the slide. It fits very well throughout its range of movement. This is also a very good visual replica. It's very close to the original, and it has good weight and it handles well. Overall, I like this one a lot. Good shooter, nice replica, seems very well put together indeed. I could recommend this one. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the review, and don't forget that you can see a full written review of this pistol at pistolplace.com.